LOMA Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, biggest news in boxing right about now, right? Seeing that we're not boxing, getting news going in, especially in the internet. And that's boxer Devin Haney, champion, lightweight champion, WBC style. Devin Haney saying, hey, ain't no white boy gonna beat me now or ever, right? So, it's a little outrage, backlash because of that, because he said ain't no white boy gonna beat him. Now, there's so many things to say about this. It's ridiculous. Listen, I'm a black guy, which means basically no matter what I got to say, nobody gonna listen anyway. You know what I mean? It's just the way that's gonna go. But bottom line is, what would happen if this was the other way around? Say white dudes in boxing was saying, hey, I ain't gonna let no black dude beat me anytime soon, right? Would he be called a racist? Probably be. I think three things would happen. Three three sounds, and it'd be like, all hell no. That's what would happen, right? And then black people would send, hey, fight this guy, fight this guy, fight this guy. So basically, in boxing, seeing as though this young man's 21 years old, has never said anything racist before, and this is not racist. Basically, he's just telling you the truth. Ain't no white boy gonna beat him anytime soon. Now, it's pretty awesome to say that, seeing as though one of the baddest white dudes in boxing, probably ever, or one of the tops, right? You're saying Lomachenko. Lomachenko is supposed to be number one pound for pound. This guy sat back and he is the mandatory challenger for Lomachenko. And watches Lomachenko go ask to be a franchise champion because he learned about it because Canelo was given the same thing, which means you don't have to fight your mandatory. So he requests that instead of fighting Devin Haney. And so you have to sit there as a young man and watch that, and he's allowed to do that. So, and you have Luke Campbell out there trying to fight the other guy, Fortuna, instead of fighting him, right? Then they strip him of his title, even though he's the champion, and he's got a hurt shoulder. Just gets a surgery instead of just they don't want to give him the title back. Want to put him in recess and let two other guys fight for the title, right? Young man heals quickly. 21-year-old dude, man, that thing gonna take 2 weeks. So he's back healthy, and they're having a problem giving him his title back. So when you watch all of that, yeah, he get pissed off, right? Luke Campbell and Lomachenko. That's all he got to do is fight him. If this was tennis or snowboarding or something, brother ain't gonna say that. Well, brother in tennis say, hey, man, I ain't gonna let no white boy beat me in tennis. You probably wouldn't even send Federer or Nadal or Djokovic. You'd probably say anybody. Wawrinka, it didn't matter who you send in tennis, right? If it's not women's tennis, a black dude better not say that in tennis. It's really just simple. It's just the truth is what he's basically trying to say. And I know what his point is. Hey, listen, this should irk people enough to send Lomachenko. Or to at least focus on the fact that Lomachenko is not trying to fight me. He's fighting for Teofimo Lopez, right? He's going to fight Lopez instead when I was the mandatory. And people didn't focus on him not wanting to do that. The deal was you fight your mandatory, Lopez fights Comey, right? And then the winners of those two fights, boom, we have an undisputed fight. Was Lomachenko didn't want to do that. So basically, hey, white people, they'll just say, oh, hell no, right? Because see, we're living in a time of Trump, where white people are basically being blatantly, right, racist, right? Racism is a problem. White people are blatantly racist right now. And if we want to just keep it boxing for a minute, but bottom line, we're living in the time of Trump, okay? It was possible to become president. It's still possible to have 43% approval rating with all those things. Send them back, send them back. Y'all understand what they remember that? You remember SOBs for people kneeling at the national anthem and people hide behind patriotism? But the same people say 3 weeks later at a Trump rally that they'd rather be Russian than Democrats and didn't care about the Ukraine scandal or that Russia interfered with the elections, something that's very patriotic. The elections, that's what democracy means, that we're allowed to, vote for our president, and you hear our adversary interfered in those elections, and that does not bother you, right? That means you're really not a patriot. You were just patriot because you saw these brothers kneeling down. And, let's make sure this is clear. Brothers kneeling down at the national anthem to make us point about unarmed kids being shot by police. Normally there should be empathy there, but there's not. So this is all blatant. So when a brother comes and says, hey, I ain't letting no white boy beat me, and he's talking boxing, then damn it, whatever. Just send some white boys to beat him, right? And ain't no American white boy champions anyway, except for Caleb Plant. So he's talking about ones coming, the ones, in America, we went for Sergey Kovalev over Andre Ward. We're cheering Sergey Kovalev over Andre Ward. So let's just make it just blatant. So when you get some blatant back, don't try to get thin skinned all of a sudden. You've been throwing this. Let me just show you things that are recently, which I've already just said. But right now, our heavyweight champion, right? We're looking for things to do. The heavyweight champion has two big things going on, investigations about his gloves, right? And three different fights. One fight had to damn near be called off because of it, right? And he has a wild boar gate where he was doped and and he said it was wild boar in the system. Now the farmer has come out and said it wasn't. He didn't give him that meat. Those are huge stories, at least stories. They're still alleged, but at least big stories, right? No mainstream media will talk about it, won't even touch it, but they'll come in and say something about this. And if you're a brother right now out there talking about Wilder, this and that, you're supposed to be checking yourself and stop looking for what's around you right now. That's not the perfect thing to say. Make sure that when you say, hey, well, listen, I would at least like to see articles about Tyson Fury. This is our heavyweight champion of the world. He just won a very significant fight against Deontay Wilder, and we didn't say anything about it, right? At all. Nothing. Now, Larry Merchant is huge in boxing. 80-year-old dude just came out after Deontay Wilder lost and said, hey, is this the end of the black, it's the last black hope? Instead of saying American, just black hope. Those should have been articles. Big articles, right? Not really. You heard a little bit about it, but not really, right? Everybody didn't, go in on Larry Merchant for saying that because it's just a fight, but he said black, right? So if it's not an issue, then he can say white boy, right? None of them said, a cuss word against the other race. Just he called him a white boy and he called him a last black guy, right? Now, you want to get to a bad name? Golden Boy Promotions. We always try to forget about this, right? Because that's what you do. Sweep it under the rug. No one was talking about this. But Golden Boy Promotions is one of the biggest promotion companies we have, especially back then. Now, Ring Magazine is a boxing Bible. You have emails between these two people talking about Al Heyman, a very significant person in the world of boxing in terms of being advisors of over 100 boxers, right? But he's a black dude who stays out of the camera, stays out of everybody's sight because he know what time it is. Very profound man. But he was being called nigger and black Hitler in these emails that were caught. There was no mainstream media. Oscar De La Hoya went on to do interviews on ESPN and Fox and all that stuff. Was never, ever asked about it. So what? So I won't never let a white boy beat me. But they would call him, hey, this nigger, this black Hitler, and they would say, hey, we need to get a couple of these websites, boxing websites, and I will not mention your names, but boxing websites, big ones, right? They would know, so they will affiliate with them too. I'm not gonna put their names because I might get one wrong. I'm not gonna do that. Bottom line, that was huge. The biggest websites, the biggest promotion companies, and the boxing Bible calling him a nigger. It's a lot different than the white boy, isn't it? No one said anything about it. So don't think that these people, especially this young boy, he's understood that. And if he didn't, his father let him know, because Pops definitely know what time it is, right? That's the one who trains him. So, he gets this information, and this is huge information. You got to stop expecting brothers to turn the other cheek and look the other way because racism is so, something that blacks go through every day. No, if it's going to get blatant, deal with some blatant stuff back. Send Lomachenko to beat up Devin Haney. That's all you got to do. That's what he's basically said. That was translation. I ain't going to let no white boy beat me. If I'm saying this and I'm from the weight division of the baddest white boy that you guys are telling us is the number one pound for pound, and I'm his mandatory, and he went and gave up that belt basically to not fight me, I'm supposed to be talking smack. That's what Devin Haney did. So I don't have nothing problem with that, because we dealing with a sport where a brother, like I said in a lot of videos, a brother will not get cheered if he's not fighting his hometown. That's the bottom line. So you're going to have to embrace the hate and go ahead and get paid from it, right? Like Floyd Mayweather did. And this guy, Devin Haney, is definitely trying to emulate Floyd Mayweather. There's no reason. You're not going to be a good guy. You can't be a better guy than Andre Ward, right? You can't be a better guy than Andre Ward. His name was SOG, Son of God. He's embracing God and a family man and all those wonderful good things. And he wasn't the strongest. He didn't hit the hardest. Just a lot of hard work and dedication to your craft and very articulate, everything you need to be. Perfect. You're supposed to be on the Wheaties box. Not. We do a obvious racist and damn near criminal in Sergei Kovalev, and you're going for Sergei Kovalev, right? Going for Sergei Kovalev. So these are the things that are just out there. You know what I mean? That's the point. And let me tell you, when it was Devin Haney and I was seeing the interview, I'll be honest with you, checking out the interview, and I'm like, I cut it off, because I didn't really even have to watch the whole thing, because it's just certain fighters where I personally don't have to watch their interview, right? I just don't. Devin Haney has just become one of them, but a Demetrius Andre, Guillermo Rigondeaux, or Louis DeVille King Kong Ortiz, or Terrence Crawford, or Deontay Wilder. I don't have to watch them in interviews because I know I've watched them over the years not get fights. And people don't give a damn that they won't get fights, right? Bottom line, boxing has said, we're not going to give them the opportunity to be great. Look at Demetrius Andre. Undisputed fight with Canelo. Everybody ignored it, right? And other things. They try to act like he doesn't even exist. Rigondeaux beats up Nonito Donaire, gets blackballed. Luis Ortiz supposed to fight Joshua. They ignore that the whole time. Dylan White can ignore him the whole time. Don't have to never fight the guy, but can call him old and then fight other people that's old, right? People act like they don't see this stuff. Terrence Crawford is reluctantly the pound for pound number one. And they putting Lomachenko in front of him, putting Canelo in front of him. This guy was undisputed. All hail Julius Ndungo. Well, I make sure that's clear, because Julius Ndungo, after going to Scotland to beat Burns and Troy Anowski in Russia, went to Nebraska to fight Terrence Crawford. He's also a hero, Julius Ndungo. But anyway, Crawford beat Julius Ndungo to become undisputed at 140 pounds. And all those people that he made look pedestrian, we acting like they're not good. And they were great. And all of these fighters won't fight Crawford, and we still acting like he's not pound for pound number one. He is, definitely. And Deontay Wilder gets hated on. Here's a guy we try to act like he don't have no skill. He don't have this. It's a skill. Boxing is to get hit and not get hit. So me knocking you out before you cause any damage is a skill, damn it. Me learning this at 19 years old and knocking people out, that's a skill. And I'm not the most skilled, but I got beat by a dude that's 50 pounds heavier than me and cheating too, and more skilled than me. He's been fighting since he's a kid, coming from a fighting family. I've started fighting because my daughter was sick. Later he's supposed to outskill me. But didn't we see him on the ground twice from an outskilled dude? Right? And every time I talk, I could say anything, and there's headlines. But him cheating, right, and on drugs, no one's saying anything. There's not any articles. So brothers are sick and tired, right? Be blatant. You ain't letting no white boy beat them. So send one, right? You know why people are not complaining about that? Are complaining about him saying they're complaining because they know, let's get him suspended or something. Because he's talking about Lomachenko. And now we have to, address Lomachenko going to get him. He's the one talking smack now. You have to. That's why Floyd is rich, right? He wasn't rich through sponsorship money and people trying to help him. He got rich because people come to see him lose the fights, right? So I just wanted to make sure, shout out to Demetrius Andre, Guillermo Rigondeaux, your boy Louis DeVille King Kong Ortiz, Devin Haney, and Deontay Wilder. Those are people right there, and Terrence Crawford, that the boxing world is not treating right all the time. And I'm here complaining about it, and many other people are. So when you're looking at all of that, the landscape, Devin Haney, yeah, say it again. He ain't letting no white boy beat him. So send a white boy to do so, right? He didn't call him out of, nothing else, just a white boy, right? It is what it is. We're not talking snowboarding here. So prove him wrong, because he's going to have the pressure now for that. But here's the point. They would rather get him suspended, and I guarantee you, than having Lomachenko fight him, because no one wants to address what Lomachenko just did, what we're just talking about. And here is something else, right? Here is something else that people are not honing in on. When Devin Haney was giving that interview, he wasn't giving that interview with a mainstream media, right, outlet. It's a dude on the internet, YouTuber, bad one of my favorites, but a YouTuber nonetheless, right? So we understood that as a YouTuber, so you are able to get that information and then spread it into the mainstream, right? These are the same guys that are complaining about Tyson Fury Wild Boar Gate, his gloves, and that won't be addressed. That means you do know the avenues to hear some inside stuff that's going on in the internet, right? But you're picking and choosing what you're acting like you heard. You're hearing all of that about Tyson Fury's gloves. You're hearing all of that about Wild Boar Gate. Who gets the dope and say Wild Boars did it, and now the farmer says he didn't give him the meat, and that's not at least something to be addressed. Now, who knows if it's true or whatever? Maybe the 70-year-old dude is lying. I don't think so personally. I'm gonna be honest about that because Tyson Fury has done a lot of things, right? It would just fit into what he's been doing, right? That's what I personally think. But it's still alleged. But to not have articles about it, and you're the same people that didn't write nothing about the racist emails either, right? But acting like, oh, it was in the internet somewhere, and people just seem to believe in the internet, right? This is the same place where he said this. He felt comfortable saying, I ain't letting no white boy beat him because he was in the internet talking to a brother, right? So, but we found that information out. So find out the rest of the information that brothers are upset about, right? Our brothers are at least checking you about, but you won't, and you don't. So that's what's happening. So no, I'm not really I do think you have to be politically correct and pick your spots and pick your words. But here, the same thing. If you expect this young 21-year-old boxer to do so, then you might want to ask your president to do so. You know what I'm saying? You might want to ask your president to do so because your president got people in kindergarten running around telling kids that are not of color and Mexican and all Hispanics and blacks that the president's going to kick you out of the country. Go back to where you come from. That's what people are saying in kindergartens, right? First grade, second grade kids, because that's what they're hearing at home, right? So, hey, this 21-year-old brother is being blatant, right? Because he's looking at the landscape, what we just talked about, and your president. It starts there. If this guy still has 43% approval rating, that's telling you where the problem is. You might want to start there and not at no boxing. Doma Sports Talk worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.